This illustration deals with supply-side source connections in accordance with 705.11a through C. Supply-side power connections for different power sources naturally have to fall in 230.82 if they're on the supply side of the service. The purpose of change was to provide a new section. So a new section has been added to address supply side source connections for electrical power production source. Now, to kind of review the bullets that kind of outline what took place in this new section, let's look at the notes. The note 1 deals with output rating. And note 1 basically states that the sum of power source connections, current output ratings, on a service shall not exceed the ampacity of service conductors as outlined in 705.11a. Also, the note recommends that you review 705.13 for loads. And of course, you know, you calculate loads by 230.42 A1. You can, in some cases, some loads, you may apply demand factor. Demand factors are less than 1. Where the authority having jurisdiction will permit it, some engineers on some feeders, high voltage feeders, may apply a diversity factor, which is more than 1. Now, the next note 2 deals with conductors. Conductors sized per 705.11b, 705.28 shall be at least number 6 copper or number 4 aluminum. Installations of conductors shall comply with 230.30 and 230.43. So those two sections would need to be reviewed along with 705.28. The note 3 deals with dwellings and other than. So overcurrent protection and conductor length becomes an issue here that we have to understand. And it states in 705.11c1 for 10 feet and 16.5 rule, we would need to review 705.11c as in car 1 very carefully for the 10-foot rule and the 16.5 rule. Now, other than dwelling units, then that's note 4. Where cable limiters are installed, we would naturally see 705.11c2 for 71-foot links and 16.5 links, and the rule that or requirement that would regulate such an installation. Now, to kind of look at the notes, first, I would like to review the note to the right top side of the illustration pointing to the generator. And the note states interconnected, or not note, but the call out states interconnected electrical power production sources outlined in 705.11a through F. Also, 230.826 recognizes this type of connection. 230.2a5 also provides information for interconnecting. Now, I would also like to look secondly at the call out to the left bottom side of the illustration pointing toward the equipment there, the electric equipment. Now notice we have a little black barrier there where we would have the instrumentation that would be isolated from, say, a higher voltage or from that main having its own compartment. And then notice we have a main, then over on the right-hand side, we have a barrier even there having a separation, and we have other protective devices located there. But notice this is a switchgear. with overcurrent protection and current limiters other than dwelling units for underground conductors that have a certain length, such as 71 feet and 16.5 feet. And notice those links are outlined in 705.11C2. Now, to my knowledge, this is new, so you need to look at this new exception very carefully relating these links. Now, at the very top, right next to the supply connections there at the transfer switch, then notice overcurrent protection for the 10-foot rule. Notice it's 16.5, only other than dwelling unit, 705.11C as in car 1. Now, the last little call out would be at the generator. You have an arrow pointing to the generator. You have a second arrow pointing to the raceway system, and it talks about the overcurrent protection in conductors from the generator to the transfer switch and where it interconnects with the utility at the interactive inverter. Then notice 705.28, 705.30, 705.11, B as in boy, and C contain the requirements so that we do not make a mistake in sizing these conductors, sizing the overcurrent device ahead of the conductors, and sizing the raceway system that encloses these conductors from the generator to the interactive inverter. And then again, remember, the inverter might be a 3-pole or 4-pole as defined and outlined in 250.30 informational notes 1 and 2.